Hey guys, just finished watching Marvel's Runaways, Season 2, Episode 8, Past Life. What an interesting episode. So this one's a bit of a slower episode. Like I said, after the last episode, I'm really not sure as to where the season's going now, because it feels like there's at this point we'll see where things continue on. I mean, the Pride storyline's still continuing on and through this, but now that we're done with the whole Jonah storyline, it feels like, yeah, the Pride storyline's kind of interesting, and it's going to be fun to see where things go, but it's like, I'm not really as interested in as much as I was with the whole Jonah, Alien, Carolina storyline. I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to where that would go. But now that that was kind of over, and he's gone, unless they reveal that he's alive somewhere, which who knows, but unless they don't in this episode. So it was just kind of like, it's okay, it's a fun episode, but it's not as good as the last episode. It's not as good as that Jonah storyline, which was such a good storyline and so interesting to get into, and so kind of seeing this spectacular with powers and aliens and all this stuff and alien spaceships, and then just going back down to a kind of evil organization gangster storyline. It's kind of like, okay, but it's kind of like if the Avengers, you got the Avengers fighting all these aliens, you got Iron Man doing all this stuff. If you went back to an Iron Man movie where just Iron Man fighting, and like an Iron Man 1 where he just fights, the military or something like that again, it wouldn't really be as interesting anymore. After doing all this stuff, it'd be kind of boring as much once you've gone so far. So I think that's kind of, I really don't like the way things are going with that. So like having this whole, like I said, having this whole storyline is kind of silly, kind of boring, and really don't like where they're going with that. Now, it's kind of like having the Avengers. They fight Thanos and all that stuff, and then in the next movie they fight Hydra. Just regular guns and blazing, and it's a smaller story. And it's like okay, but not as interesting as everyone versus Thanos, right? Now that's a different situation because we know that movie costs a lot of money. It's really difficult to do, and there's not going to happen very often. But here it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of silly, kind of difficult to hear the way things are doing things here, and I just kind of don't really like this whole storyline. Now, if you want to keep this storyline, the Pride storyline is a good storyline. It's really good, but because we already had that alien storyline with Jonah, that one was so interesting and so cool. And this just seems like a smaller version of that. So it's going to take some while to get, the further we get away from it, I think the more I'll be into it. But right now I'm just kind of like, that's not really as good as the alien storyline. What's left with Pride, it's kind of like, a little bit of family drama, but they'll get over it eventually. Whereas it was way cooler to see what's going to happen with Alien. Is he going to crack, California in half? What's going to happen with all that? So we start off this episode with kind of some flashbacks with the preacher. I guess we kind of find out that Jonah the alien inside of him is kind of jumps from host to host, it looks like. And he finally hopped into Jonah, and he had to stay that way to kind of, as soon as Carolina was born, so that she would recognize him as her father, right? If he changed bodies and changed hosts, that would kind of mess up his relationship with Carolina. And I kind of think that's going to be interesting to play, to see if that goes, if he comes back somehow. Who knows? But I hope not, at least not for a while. We find out that Pride kind of splits up, and they're like, yeah, everyone go look for their own kids, and we work on our own to see where things go. And we break up Pride, right? So we see that, and we see Liv, which was Darius's niece, I think, or sister-in-law, and she goes to clear Darius from the murder charge. There's a video of him at a birthday party during the death of I can't think of Gonzalez when she was around. And Carolina, we see Catherine Wilder. She ends up sending, the cops and stuff to go after her and kind of scare her. But she doesn't realize is that Alex isn't having a relationship with her, and they kind of, Alex is there. He doesn't get hurt or anything like that, but she didn't realize that. And so when she finds out that Alex was there, she's just like freaking out, right? So that was interesting dealing with that. Then we see Frank Dean. He ends up going to Leslie Dean to kind of, about the kid that he killed. He killed Gonzalez's brother, right? Oscar Gonzalez. So we see him dealing with that. Now he goes to Leslie Dean, and she's all like, "We got to get this done. We got to get, I'm going to help you with this." And he doesn't know what to do. He's all panicking. And then he gets her to, and then she says that she's going to just shut down the church, the Gaborum church and stuff. Now that Jonah is gone, and it was all a lie, right? So when she says that, she's like, okay, I'll call the Pride fixer one more time, and that's it, right? And so they're standing in front of the trunk with the dead body in it, and the cop and Leslie, and he ends up taking photos, and he's gonna frame her for the guy that he killed. That is just, oh my god. At first, when I saw that happen, when he killed the guy, accidentally killed the guy in the last episode, I was like, really, I kind of barely didn't know if I should note it or not. But I thought, like, he killed the person, I'm gonna note it. But it really was just kind of something that I was like, oh no, not this. It's gonna be boring, right? It's not this storyline. It kind of, after seeing this, this alien storyline with Jonah, I really didn't care about, Frank killing someone. That kind of seems like a boring storyline in comparison, But here now, she wants to use it to get rid of Leslie Dean so he can keep the church going, and I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. What is Carolina going to think of that? Whose side she's going to be on? Frank's side, Leslie's side, all that stuff. I think that's really going to be interesting to see as to where things kind of go with that. I see that Carolina finds a message from Jonah. She goes through his office and stuff, and ends up finding a secret message he left for him, which is kind of a recorder with a device on it. I thought it was going to be a bit more. She's going to find some sort of key or sort of journals or notes or something. It would be interesting to see if she can read that book that Janet Stein had, where she read about the ship and all that stuff. It's unclear as if can Carolina read that. Would she just be inherently built into her that she can read that language, or would she have to learn that language completely? That would be something interesting to find out, to see if she can read that. I think that would be something fun to try out, but it's going to be cool to see as to where that book comes. If I'm not mistaken, Janet Stein might still have it unless she give it back to the Wilders, but I think she still has it at the moment. So that'd be cool to see as to where we get that. And then Frank Dean ends up going to, obviously wants to get rid of her. He goes to the two girls there who are kind of the blindly loyal servants to the church there, to get rid of, and shows them the photos and to get rid of Leslie Dean. And then they're all everyone's at the hotel, and they know that the cops are coming to get them and stuff, and that's when Flores ends up having Molly in custody. And that was weird with the cliffhanger for this episode. So Molly gets locked in this room. She easily breaks out. She pretends she lets herself get caught so that those guards deal with them and, get off the track of the rest of the friends, right? But then she sees the cop, and and it's like, all dramatic and the music, and it's like, okay, but she has superpowers. Yes, these are cops and stuff, but she still has superpowers. She has super strength. She could just punch through the door and rip it off. I know there's a side effect to her powers. It makes her tired and all that stuff, but she's not out of breath. Now, if she had been fighting all these cops in the stairwell, and there was like a, longish fight scene where she was fighting them all and stuff, and she got overpowered because there was just like too many of them, and she got tired because that's the weakness to her, that's the drawback to her powers. She uses it and she's exhausted. That would have made sense as if they had brought her in kind of almost passed out from exhaustion. I think that would have made more sense than her kind of sitting in the chair, just ripping off her bracelets and kind of not being tired whatsoever, and then seeing the cops in there, and it's like, okay, but there's no kind of drama in that. There's no kind of like, oh my god, he's here, she's not in any danger because she has the upper hand of powers, If I'm not mistaken, she's bulletproof when she, or I might be mixing her up with Thunder over on Black Lightning, but if I'm not mistaken, she's bulletproof when she gets super strong, when she activates her powers, So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things go with that. But I don't see the rest of them kind of, leaving without Molly. So I think that's going to be cool to see as to where things go, and how much does Flores know about Molly's powers? Does he know how to stop her? Like her parents do. I don't see her parents, the Yorks, being really one to be like, yeah, here, we'll give this the guy who cleans up our dead bodies this way to kind of to stop our daughter, right? That doesn't seem like a good idea, because that he would use that if someone else, if the Wilders sent him after Molly or whatever, right? They don't seem like they would really trust him with that sort of information, or even if they would even have a way to stop Molly. I don't even know they would even think up of something like that. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to how much does he know about Molly. Does he know that she has these powers? Someone could have told her. Any of the Pride members could have told him about it, so about her powers, but I would definitely be interested to see as to how much he knows how to deal with her. That'll be cool to see as to where things go with that. So all in all, I'm really excited to see as to where things go with this. But like I said, I'm not as excited as I was with the alien storyline that we had before with Jonah. This Pride storyline is cool. It's the same. It's the same storyline. It's not a new storyline. It's the same one continuing on. But it just seems less interesting now that the whole alien part with Jonah is out of the equation. So hopefully they bring something else into the mix with the Pride, something that brings them back together maybe, and there's something else that could be kind of more interesting, just as interesting as the alien storyline with Jonah. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, about all this in the comments below. Where do you think things are gonna go? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.